everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are recording in my room in front of my TBR shelf because I'm actually reorganizing my shelves downstairs. And I thought that I would have it done by now, but one of them actually broke when I was trying to reorganize everything, so we are now troubleshooting that issue. But hopefully the next video that I record I will be able to do back in front of the bookshelves. This one today is just a short video in any case. This is my March TBR, and I didn't think it would take too long to go through it, and so I decided to just go ahead and record it up here in a different space. Much like the last couple of months, so when I did my January TBR, when I did my February TBR, I was like, I'm gonna stop putting in so many buddy reads. I am going to make room for more mood reading, and I just lied, I guess, to myself and to everyone else because I have not been able to stop doing that. I still have a bunch of buddy reads in March, but I am really looking forward to all of them, so hopefully, it won't feel too overwhelming or anything like that. For the very first book of the month, I just want to talk about the buddy read for the Discord. So this is the official Discord buddy read kicking off on March the 1st, and that is Guns of the Dawn by Adrian Tchaikovsky. So we did Children of Time by Adrian Tchaikovsky as a channel buddy read in, I want to say September or maybe October, but like at the end of 2021. And everybody really liked it. Then we read one of his novellas. That was a little bit more mixed in terms of reception, but people really wanted to read Guns of the Dawn. I am looking forward to it according to all of the gushing that I have heard about it, which has mostly been from Alan over at the Library of Alexandria. This is kind of a mashup of an Austen Regency novel and a book about like not steampunk, what's the other word for it? Flintlock, there we go. Flintlock, a Flintlock fantasy about war and I think specifically about the role of women in warfare. So I am really looking forward to reading this one. It is definitely outside my usual in terms of what I like to read in fantasy, but it does incorporate some things that I have liked from classics and other types of books. So hopefully it'll still be a book that I enjoy, but I know everybody's looking forward to it and hopefully it will promote lots of discussion. So if you have been looking for an excuse to read Guns of the Dawn, then please feel free to join the Discord. I'll put the link below and you can come in and talk about it with all of us. Similarly, another book that is on my buddy read TBR is released on March the 1st. So this is one of my fantasy books that I put on my TBR that I was looking forward to reading, my priority release TBR for 2022. And that is a book called All the Horses of Iceland. So this is a novella that is being released on March the 1st. And if you want to know more about it, then you can go and check out that releases TBR. But I'm going to be reading it with Evie, who really loves horses. So I'm hoping that this is just going to be a book that we both fall in love with. I'm expecting some kind of dreamy lyrical prose, and hopefully this will be one that we both enjoy. Like I said, I am happy to start both of these at the beginning of the month because All the Horses of Iceland is a novella, so hopefully it won't take too long to go through. The third buddy read for the month is one that I have been looking forward to forever, and it might be actually behind me. It is. I will draw it out of the shelf, and that is 11/22/63. So this is one of the books by Stephen King that I have not yet read. I just want to this is like the floppiest, biggest paperback. I'm so excited to read it. But this is his time travel slash, I think there's like a romantic subplot to this book, but this is one of his books that was at the top of my personal TBR. It is one of the ones that I really think I'm going to love. I know a lot of longtime King fans who felt like he had really gotten his mojo back when he published 11/22/63, that this was, it reached the same heights for them as some of his earlier works that they had really, really enjoyed. And I'm excited to read it. I'm going to be reading it with Andrew at Andrew's Wizardly Reads, but I believe we're also going to be discussing it with our friend Baron. We had a discussion with Baron about it, and it was so much fun. So hopefully we will be discussing 11/22/63, and that's not just something that I made up. I don't think it is. I think we had agreed to read it, and this is why we wanted to prioritize it for March, but just in case, hopefully I didn't make that up. If I did, then maybe I'll finagle them into reading it or discussing it with me. Anyway, the next buddy read is another one that I discussed reading with Andrew, and this is Illborn. So he's doing an official buddy read for Illborn with, I think, Leslie from the Nerdy Narrative. So I think he will be running an official chat over at his Discord, but I also really wanted to pick up Illborn after hearing Petrick rave about it. And since Andrew was reading it, and since I love getting messages from Andrew while he's reading through books, it always makes it so much more fun. Then I was like, oh, well, I'll read Illborn in March as well. And I snagged a copy on Kindle when they were on sale. And I am looking forward to it. I really don't know that much about Illborn. I think it's classic feeling fantasy, maybe. I just know that Petrick really loved it. I remember listening to him gush about it on his channel. And I was like, well, you know, okay. I'm sold. I will read it. And then it came up on sale, and I was like, well, I really have zero excuses to not read this now, and I put it on the TBR, and hopefully I will be able to get through it in March. The last buddy read, I think, no, there's two more. Gosh. So the second last buddy read is Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. So I'm going to read this with Kyle and another individual from, excuse me, from Discord. And I will be, I think, discussing it there. Sorry. We'll be discussing it over there on Discord, and I'm really looking forward to it. I have had some mixed feelings about the Greenbone Saga. So the Greenbone Saga is a book series that I really have wanted to love. I definitely came into it after the hype train had already begun. So when some really big booktubers had talked about how much they loved it, how it was one of their favorite fantasy series. I know that this is one of Petrick's favorite series ever, and for the first two books, I thought that the bones of the series were things that I love. Like, I love mafia stories, I love this kind of blending of magic and martial arts. I thought that the characters were all very well developed, but there are just things about Fonda Lee's writing style that don't mesh with me super well. There are a couple of things that she does that I don't think are bad writing techniques, but they're just things that personally bother me, and not even bother, but things that pull me out of the reading experience. And so I did not enjoy Greenbone as much as I had hoped, and it actually made it difficult for me to connect to the characters as much as I wanted to, and as much as everybody else seems to. That being said, it is rare for me to DNF a series, and I have liked the books. I believe I gave them both 3 stars, but I'm not sure. I actually liked Jade City a little bit more than Jade War, which I know is an unpopular opinion as well. But everybody loves this conclusion. People talk about the things that Fonda Lee did in this conclusion, how it feels so different from many fantasy conclusions that they have read, and that really makes me want to keep reading. I have said from the beginning that I love this concept so much that if this does indeed get green, I know it has been picked up for television, but if it goes through and it makes it to the screen, I think I will love it as a TV series because it's the technical aspect of the writing that I am finding difficult. But still gonna read Jade Legacy. I know Kyle has become like a bit of a super fan. I think that the other friend that I'm reading it with is also a big fan of the series, so I might be like the Debbie Downer in the conversation, but it'll still be really fun to discuss it, and it'll be nice to check an ongoing fantasy series off my list. The last buddy read is one that I may or may not be doing in March, and I will explain why. So, Yolene and Evie both asked if I would like to participate in a Seven Waters read-along with them. So, for anybody who is new to the channel, Daughter of the Forest by Juliette Marillier is the first book in the Seven Waters series, and it was my favorite book that I read last year. I loved it. Yolene over at Yolene Reads, it is her favorite book of all time. I don't think Evie has read it. I think this is why she wanted to start up the read-along, so I don't think she has read any of them. But I am so looking forward to reading the rest of this series. I have wanted to continue on ever since I read Daughter of the Forest. Now, Daughter of the Forest functions very well as a standalone, which is probably why I didn't feel as compelled to keep going, because I think they are a series. They're not companion novels as such, but like there are very definitive arcs, I believe, for each book. Like book 1 had a very closed ending if you ever only wanted to read it as a standalone. And so that's probably why I didn't feel that pressure to keep going right away. However, I would love to discuss these books with these ladies because I think that they are so smart. Their taste in fantasy overlaps with mine so often, and it'll just be really nice to read them with them. But I don't know if I'll be able to reread Daughter of the Forest. I'm hoping that I'll be able to because I really loved it. It is one of my favorite books that I have ever read. And I know I just read it last year, but I would love to read it again. Take my time, rediscover my favorite parts. It is a book that I know that I'm going to reread, and now is just as good a time as any. But I obviously have a very lengthy list of buddy reads that I already need to get through, so we'll see if I have time. I may end up skimming through Daughter of the Forest, still jumping in for the conversation, talking about my favorite moments. It is definitely going to be one that I keep for the kind of end of the month to see how things are going, but if I can find time, I will reread it, and regardless, we're going to be doing these once a month, and I will certainly be reading book 2 next month because I haven't read book 2 yet, and I'm very excited for it. As always, I'm going to add on the end of this, my highest priority series to continue with, if I can make it through all these books, are Mistborn. I really want to finish that last Mistborn book so that I cannot be scared of spoilers anymore and so that I can experience Mistborn altogether. And I want to continue with Live Ship. I keep talking about continuing with Live Ship, and inevitably someone like Jake will jump in and be like, well, you know, just read Live Ship. And I want to, but I feel like when I commit to a buddy read, I need to follow through on it. But just know that my heart, it calls out to Live Ship traders. And I am nearing the end of like this. There's about a week left in February, but I have almost all my February books done. So maybe I'll sneak Live Ship in there and we shall see. But that is my March TBR. I'm really looking forward to reading all of these books. I know I keep saying I'm not going to do as many buddy reads, and hopefully that will be true in May, June, and July, because April, to be honest, I've already signed up for some chunky books. So, you know, it is what it is, but hopefully they will all be enjoyable to read. Hopefully you will like getting to hear about them, and hopefully there will be some that I would like to do dedicated reviews for. Are you going to jump in on any of these reads? What are you planning to read in March in general? Please let me know, and I will see you with another video soon. Bye!